grandpa.
Grandpa, yeah.
I met him in 1965, and he is one of the 4 manongs. If you are familiar with the word manong, old Filipinos who came here in the 20s. And this Mr. Beluan came here when he was 24 years old. And there were 4 of them who really lived a clean life. And they all died past 90 years old. That's amazing, huh?
Yeah.
4 of them.
Huh.
4 manongs lived a clean life and died past 90 years old. The oldest is 97. Lopez, who is a graduate of UC Berkeley, is his PhD there.
Wow.
And the next one, older one is
Uncle Johnny.
Uncle John. No, Mr. Binloan, 94 years old. And Uncle Johnny, 93 years old.
Oh, really?
Mr. Sugayan, I didn't know because I was not the pastor anymore at the church when he died.
And Uncle Johnny went to UC Berkeley also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know he was
Political science.
I didn't know he was 93. I thought he was older than that.
He died at 93 years old. But Mr. Binloan, 94 years old. Isn't that something?
I was telling
You remember me.
that they live, that they live, Cora lives by your
Yeah, not
place.
far.
I came here in 1963.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted.
No, yeah.
Before you were born. Let us have a word of prayer. We thank you, eternal God, for your blessing to us day by day, giving us long life. We thank you because you have abundantly care for what we do and our future. And so as we recall the lives of those who have gone ahead of us, we are challenged to live a good, clean, religious life that honors you and the generations to come. I pray for Mrs. Binloan, pray for your grandchildren and children, that thou wouldst bless them. I pray that you will continue to care for our needs day by day. Bless this food as we partake of it, and remind us that all the things, good things, come from you. Especially for this Christmas Day celebrations, we recall the life of one who died, that we might have life and have it more abundantly. As we close this and we pray, we recall the verse of Mr. Binloan saying, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life." That's the life we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Boy, this is a feast.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry we missed Mrs. Ancheta, but it's not feeling good. Yeah.
Family history, right?
Okay.
Sixta has given me many, many accounts that I've written down, and we've been collecting from the family. But you said earlier in your grace about the 4 Manoas.
Okay.
And if you could develop that a little more,
Sure.
we'd be very.
I can talk, okay? When I came here in 1963, in 1965, the United Methodist Church appointed me as part-time pastor of Oakland Church. My first acquaintance in Oakland United Methodist Church were 4 old members of the Filipino community, and we called them manongs because they came here and there were very, very few Filipina, and they were subjected to a lot of racial prejudices. They were Mr. Valentin Sugayan, Mr. Mariano Binloan, Mr. Agustin Lopez, and Mr. Just a moment.
Juan Lorenzo?
Juan Lorenzo, right? the oldest of them is Mr. Lorenzo. He was born in 1903 and died in
1893? Wow.
1993. And the second oldest is Mr. Vinloan.
O3 also.
He was born in 1903 and died, of course, in
97.
97.
December 15th, 1997.
And Mr. Lopez was the first who came among the four. He came here when he was 17 years old, although he was born in 1908, and he died in 2005. These people were the ones who started the church. They were the founders of the church because they came from different denominations. Mr. Lopez, as a matter of fact, is Roman Catholic. But by that time, they need somebody to support each of them because of the discrimination. So they have to find someone to be their allies. And the church gathered them, Filipinos, because the district superintendent of the United Methodist Church, who was assigned in Manila, retired and came here and stayed in Oakland. And he knew of these many Filipinos. So he gathered them because many of them became what we call pen boys. They were studying during the day but work with American families. So the American families, when there was a Valentine's Day, they gathered them, they communicated, you know. Americans have telephones, they say, oh, you have a boy in your house? We will gather them. And they gathered them in 1936 in the First United Methodist Church in Oakland. It was a Valentine's Day because Mr. Sogayan was named Valentine because he was born on February 14. He was the king of that. He was crowned king in that affair. The good thing about this is they live a clean, good life as members of the church, and they follow the rules of the church. They drink a little bit, but they don't smoke, but they were really good followers of the church. And all four died when they were past 90 years old. That is amazing. So the Manongs had, you know, one good story about this is when the one will rent an apartment, the owner knew that it is only owned by one because he rented it. But at night, there will be about 20 people who will get inside and sleep. And early morning, they get out and work. That is the amazing thing that I could remember. So I'm very happy that I remember Mr. Venloan very much. He is a very supportive man of the church. That's why I knew Marty, but his real name really is Mariano Jr.
Not Junior, Mariano Marty only.
But because the father is Mariano.
Mariano,
So,
Mayor y menor.
yeah. And then I know Mina, then also son, and then Chris, and Grace. That's all.
A bit of the history filled in.
Alexa has something.
You want to fill in with Frank about what Manong means?
Oh,
Yeah. The older brother or whatever.
Manong in our language is an older brother because they were old men here and they suffered a lot. In fact, there was an organization called the Manong. There was a building in San Francisco, which was inhabited by most Filipinos.
International Hotel?
International hotel.
Oh, Chris is.
Alberta's International.
Yeah, yeah. But what they did was there was a fight among the residents and the city. The city wanted to demolish it because they thought it was an eyesore in the city, in Chinatown. But the people were living there. And I just can't remember how many months. Terrible fight among between the city officials and the Manongs. But finally, of course, the city always have an upper hand. And the Manong just gradually died year after year. So they were diminished, and finally the building was demolished. Manong.